to our English news edition coming to you from Canal Algérie, and in today's major headlines. The President of the Republic sends messages to the UN Secretary General, the AU current chairman, and the IGAD Executive Secretary, calling for a common approach to end fighting in Sudan. The situation in Sudan is also at the center of the phone conversation between the President of the Republic and his Turkish counterpart, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. A huge move of solidarity among the Algerian community abroad, confirming their sound attachment to their ancestral values of solidarity. Morocco, still jolted by the harsh living conditions worsened by a total indifference by the Makhzen regime. And the African Heritage Month kicks off in Algeria, an event to highlight the African dimension of Algeria. Good evening and welcome back. First of all, and as part of his ongoing close monitoring of the dangerous developments taking place in the Republic of Sudan, the President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, current President of the Arab League, sent on Tuesday messages to the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, to the current President of the African Union, President of the Republic of Comoros, Azali Ousmani, as well as to the Executive Secretary of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, Dr. Warikti Jibiyu. The President initiative comes in light of the situation in Sudan and the backdrop of the continuing armed clashes between the Sudanese army and the rapid support forces, causing heavy human and material losses, which requires international action to stop bloodshed. In his three messages, the President of the Republic stressed that the dangerous and regrettable developments in the brotherly Sudan now pose a common challenge which requires international combined efforts, and they called for a joint urgent action to avoid further escalation. While hailing the individual steps taken by these organizations, the President of the Republic affirmed that it is still possible to further develop and fructify these steps via collective efforts aimed at urging with one voice the brothers of Sudan to cease all confrontations and the imperative to make the supreme interest of the country prevail and prevent bloodshed. The current President of the Arab Summit highlighted on the same occasion Algeria's readiness to intensify its efforts in cooperation with regional and international partners for an effective contribution to the efforts aiming to stop the clashes between the Sudanese brothers. In this regard, the President of the Republic called for thinking about a common and unified approach between the four organizations, the UN, the AU, the IGAD, and the Arab League, so as to help the Republic of Sudan to overcome the current crisis. In other news, the President of the Republic received on Monday a phone call from his brother, the President of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The two presidents tackled the bilateral cooperation relations and means to further boost them. The two parties then discussed the dangerous developments in Sudan, as well as the means to politically find a solution and end the bloodshed between the Sudanese brothers in this blessed month of Ramadan, and insisted on the occasion that dialogue should settle this crisis while prioritizing the interests of the country. The clashes continue in the Sudanese capital and the city of Omdurman, particularly while the Sudanese army's planes were flying over the capital's sky. According to the UN, 200 were reported dead and 18,000 injured since Saturday. The Red Cross and the World Health Organization called on the warring factions to ensure humanitarian access to those in need. With the help of the Grand Mosque of Paris, several mosques in France are offering iftar meals, as it is the case in An-Nour Mosque located in Montpellier, where a large number of faithfuls gather there to bring help for the benefit for humanitarian initiatives. Details with Melissa Kabash.
On this blessed month, and just like every mosque belonging to the Grand Mosque of Paris, the Noor Mosque, located in the French city of Montpellier, offers for its part as well iftars for hundreds of fasting people.
تنظيم في المسجد وفيما يخص المطبخ.
Everything is organized at the level of the mosque. We first collect the products, then we start preparing the meals at 2 p.m. As for the meals distribution, it starts at 7 p.m.
The operation is financed by the Presidency of the Republic via the Grand Mosque of Paris.
I thank the Chancellor of Paris Grand Mosque as well as the Algerian state and of course the President of the Republic. We thank the Algerian authorities, the President of the Republic and the Grand Mosque of Paris.
A large number of people benefit from this generous and thoughtful operation, especially students.
This is such a good initiative. They are helping everyone in need. We thank God and everyone taking part in this humanitarian operation.
We as Libyan students, we appreciate the iftars organized here with our Muslim brothers.
This initiative aims at spreading the splendor of Islam here in France and bring Muslims closer to each other.
After the iftar, the attendees gather to accomplish the extra night prayers of Tarawih and read the Quran in a pious and spiritual atmosphere.
Solidarity is a cause for everyone. Employees and Algerian diplomatic representations in France joined the solidarity initiatives, all adhered in preparing the collective iftar. Najah Tayyar has the details.
It's iftar time and these generous women are super busy serving meals to the special guests. Most of them are neither members or volunteers of an association. These are employees in the Algerian General Consulate in Paris who devoted a part of the day to prepare a meal for the elderly. We chose this day to prepare this iftar meal here. I was called upon because I'm used to work with them in the consulate. We prepared very good dishes and it's going very well. Everyone present shared this iftar meal with the consulate members and students in a family and vibrant ambience. The dishes were amazing and we enjoyed our time. Thank you all. Today we got a very nice iftar. May God bless you with long life. The spirit of solidarity prevails in Toulouse as well in an iftar organized jointly by the Algerian Consulate with Algerian associations in the region and in collaboration with Rayan Radio. A traditional music event held by Nadia Rayan was organized in Bordeaux for the Algerian community. The music performance was preceded by a collective iftar meal reflecting the solidarity. And solidarity has proven its heavy presence between Algerians thanks to the active Algerian associations, recalling the Algerian government's implementation of the President of the Republic's instructions of financing millions of iftar meals all along this period, all thanks to the Grand Mosque of Paris and the involvement of our consulate in order to beef up ties of our community. At Saint-Étienne, the Algerian consulate has paid a great attention to the Algerian children in a ceremony of encouragement that was organized to award the successful in the Holy Quran memorization.
In other news, the Interior Minister Ibrahim Murad paid a working visit to the province of Algiers, which he kicked off with a meeting devoted to the rehabilitation plans of Algiers and during which he listened to 4 presentations concerning the life aspects of the citizen. The minister stopped in several sites, notably the rehabilitation project of Wad al-Harrash. The minister also highlighted about the great efforts made to improve the living environment in the capital, modernize facilities and rehabilitate the ancient cultural heritage, namely the Kasbah of Algiers and other vital promising projects. In a different story, the Security Council should discuss on Wednesday the situation in occupied Western Sahara, an opportunity to listen to the report of the Special Envoy of the UN Secretary General for Western Sahara, Staffan de Mistura, and the head of the UN mission for the organization of a self-determination referendum in Western Sahara, Alexander Ivanko, on the current situation in Western Sahara territories occupied by Morocco. And turmoil is still jolting social security in Morocco due to harsh living conditions and a high rate of indebtedness, pushing many Moroccan companies to bankruptcy, Ines Kalou reports.
Morocco is on the bridge of abyss. In addition to its unprecedented socio-economic crisis, the Mahzen is facing its worst crisis in all fields. The excessive indebtedness that this country plunged to is countless. The latest insolvency index of Allianz Trade, one of the world leaders in credit insurance solutions, reveals that 13,000 Moroccan companies are threatened with bankruptcy in 2023, with a stagnation for 2024. This trend ranks Morocco in fourth position of the countries with the highest number of companies in bankruptcy in the world. According to this report, 41% of the companies that have declared bankruptcy are located in Casablanca, Rabat and Tanger, the cities which have the largest number of companies in Morocco. 33% of these companies are active in trade, 21% in real estate, and 15% in public works. Another bad news for the Mahzen. At the beginning of this month, the American financial agency Fitch Solutions lowered its economic growth expectations for Morocco from 3.4% to 1.8% for the year 2023. While the Mahzen continues its momentum in a frantic dynamic of contracting loans from various international financial institutions, which had ranked Morocco in 2021 in the fifth rank of the most indebted countries on the African continent with $65.41 billion, and that inflation has reached in 2022 its peak for 30 years. The long absence of Mohammed VI still raises more concerns and complicates the situation even more.
Back to national news, the Heritage Month has opened its doors and the Culture Minister Soraya Moulouji announced the opening of the Grand African Museum in Algeria next June. More details with Najah Dayar.
By these paintings that reflect the beauty of the Algerian and the other African countries' heritage was the opening of the Heritage Month festivities, the local couscous that is classified by the UNESCO as intangible heritage, the antique Rai art, and numerous other national and African arts were presented in the African Heritage Exhibition. Over 13 countries are present here with their cultural heritage that is enlisted by the UNESCO. We are preparing farewells for many other arts to be enlisted in the future, such as the Algerian traditional music and women traditional outfit. This exhibition reflects the great interest granted to the Algerian heritage and the African dimension. To value these cultural and artistic resources and in the quest of its preservation for the upcoming generations, the government works on this goal by its support and by special programs. We have announced the construction of the Grand Museum in Algeria that is project registered this year, 2023. Meanwhile, Algeria will host the temporary African Museum next June. The Heritage Month that is marked with rich and diverse activities is an opportunity to display the African cultural and artistic richness and diversity and to consolidate the intellectual, historical and artistic belonging.
And with that, we wind up our today's program. Thank you for tuning in and goodbye.